Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says finances at point of no return without massive tax hike. Who would have thought it? A socialist mayor is going to raise taxes after promising not going to after him promising he's not going to raise taxes. Same, and remember he said he wasn't going to raise property taxes because he didn't want to harm he didn't want to hurt the people. But he went against that. But thank goodness the Chicago they end up voting against those property taxes. So he has to make up the revenue some way, somehow. So of course, the only way they can do that, because they're not gonna uh try to cut back spending, of course. So they want to raise taxes as always. That's the Democratic motto. But we're gonna talk a little bit about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Breitbart, and they report that Chicago's self-professed progressive Democrat Mayor Brandon Johnson is warning that the city's finances are, quote, at the point of no return unless he gets massive tax hikes to replace dwindling revenue. This is because they spend all the money on illegal immigrants, and then they of course they don't never maintain the budget. They overspend. They love spending other people's money, and now they got themselves in this predicament. Johnson told his constituents that the system that people rely on are woefully underfunded, and he wants higher taxes, adding, quote, everyone knows that. Everyone knows what you know. My commitment is to progressive revenue. I can't do this by myself, he says. Chicago is facing a disastrous $1.1 billion budget deficit for 2026, and Johnson insists that he needs more progressive revenue options to fill the shortfall, according to CBS News. While Johnson did not lay out any particular tax hikes on Tuesday, he has previously said he is looking into instituting a millionaire tax, re-implementing the per employee head tax on corporations during business in the city, and imposing a tax on social media advertising. Late last year, Johnson plans for a huge $300 million increase in property taxes was knocked down by the city council in a rare unanimous rebuke of a Windy City mayor's budget proposition. Johnson has since promised not to float the taxing scheme again anytime soon. The city has not been helped by moves by the state legislature either. For one, the state Democrats beat back demands that more state tax dollars be handed to Chicago's mass transit systems. Worse, left-wing Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a bill that puts an even greater burden on Chicago's already unfunded pension system, with a new law that adds an unsustainable $11 billion in additional pension costs for the city's fire and police departments. The wild growth in taxes has been a chief reason businesses and residents are leaving Chicago. For years, Chicago was one of the worst case cities for losing population, but over the last 2 years have been some small growth. The growth, though, is only because of the arrival of 96,000 foreign migrants. Wow. So they get rid of Mayor Lori Lightfoot, a leftist, and put someone even worse in, so-called progressive. He's really a socialist. Mayor Johnson in. He rather give all the money, the tax revenue, to his teachers union rather than taking that money and actually fixing his city. But it's crazy. I would never ever live in a city like Chicago. That's wild. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.